Hello, excuse me, and welcome. We're nearly over the gold. We're not quite there yet. Still got a bit of a frog in the throat, but certainly a lot better today. Out of context, that probably means nothing for people who see this bit of the stream, because it tends to be only the YouTubes that gets this bit. Anyone watching? Right, yes, my name is Trismegistus, and we all appear to be live. And playing a bit of Dyson Sphere Program. Going to be switching up the stream schedule from this week on. And this will also be streamed. I will also be streaming this, rather, if I can English, on Friday, rather than Satisfactory, because I'm a bit stuck, in a sense, on Satisfactory, in that I don't know what I'm doing, basically. Whereas with this, I do know roughly what I'm doing. They also announced on the 20th of April, so literally a week and a half away, there will be a big update to Dyson Sphere Program. They called it a big update. It didn't look that big, but you never know. And that may mean that in order to see those updates, where are we? We must be on that one there. Yeah. In order to see those updates, we may well need to start a new game. So it would be good. I don't want to do that for this. This streaming series. I want to finish off the Dyson Sphere Program. But if we do need to start a new game, then to see those updates, then may well roll into that as a straight afterwards. But it means I will then want to finish this Dyson Sphere as soon as I can. If it doesn't require an update, then it'll give us some more stuff to play with. So it's sort of a win-win in either way. But really, we could do with progressing this a bit quicker. Also, focusing on 2 building management type games, I think, is probably a bit better than 3 at the same time, which was getting a bit over the top. And it should give me a bit of a chance to... I fiddled about with the audio on this one as well. I think the music may be a little loud. Let's just knock that down a tiny bit. That's a bit better. Yeah. Yeah, so it gives me a chance to actually do more stuff on Factorio and this during the week, or Satisfactory, without as much pressure. Obviously, it's self-inflicted pressure, really, but. Right, so the plan, we are back home. So our last stream... Wow, the FPS is atrocious. Appears to all be on the rendering end. I just have to be choppy, I guess, because not a lot I can do about that. Oh well. Yes, so on the I can actually see it. Actually, it's very choppy. Wow, 3% miss due to rendering lag. I wonder if I could maybe turn the quality down. I don't think that works while I'm actually streaming. Huh. Anyway, streaming. Maybe if we turn that down to... I don't really want to go below 6,000 or 6 meg. I'm afraid it just might have to be a bit choppy, to be honest with you. Oh well. The plan today, basically, so we're back home. I flew us back to the home system. Between last stream and this stream, we obviously found, or we went to visit our black holes. I can't remember which one it even was, but we did find some sulfuric acid. One of those two. Was it that one? Doesn't show it, does it? Anyway, wherever it was. Faraway. There is a planet with sulfuric acid not too far away, so that's a really useful thing, because it's a bit of a pain making sulfuric acid in this game. Yeah, but basically what we need to do is get working on the old next phase, essentially, which is the Dyson Swarm. We won't get to the phase of actually making a Dyson Swarm this time, but we can do stuff like the ray receiver, because we need more power, basically. That's our current sort of limitation, really. And we could burn hydrogen and all this sort of stuff, but we're going to need the Dyson Swarm anyway, and you know, we might as well get cracking, really. And we don't actually have that many researchers left. Are we making purple, or are we making green? Which is the one that's left? No, we're making purple, you see. So we can do these vertical launch silos. Can't do that one. That lets you do bigger Dyson spheres, so we wouldn't need that one anyway for ages. But we would need green for that one, you see. But then it's a sort of a buff one, really. Okay, so we'll set some of these going. These two in particular. But this basically unlocks the carrier robots. And which they're the things that take your frames into orbit, so your Dyson frames. Vertical launch silos where they fire from. We don't need them for the actual Dyson Swarm. What we need... Oh, we could actually do that one as well, couldn't we? If we had that one on, because that's quite useful. Where's the... Quantum printing is the next level of on chip. Where's the... Maybe it is them vertical launch silos. Launch a small carrier road loaded Dyson spheres components onto the Dyson Sphere orbit to form modules and frames. Have I already unlocked the solar sail orbit system? I have. Oh right, so we might actually... Okay, so we might be able to build some then. I did not think we were quite at that stage yet. Okay. We need those purpley pinky ones. What does it call them? That was quick. I guess we got a load of science just stacked up. So we need to make them solar sails, and to make them, for some reason I thought you unlocked them further down the way. So it's them we need to make. Photon combiners. Am I making photon combiners anywhere? What we could do is just check the production stats. Because I don't think I am. I can't see them. Let's do we can search it, can't we? Oh, no, you can't. It's a bit rubbish. No. Bit rubbish on that way. No, so I'm not making any photon combiners. So what we need to do is make some photon combiners. They're not that difficult to make. We need a bit of land, really, I guess, is the thing. But yeah, once we get some sails up and running, that'll give us a bit more power, in particular. And that should enable us to ramp up the graviton lenses production and get some of those planets that we explored, viable for exploitation. So I'm thinking here. Yeah, let's build it here. Where's that? That's just over that way. Was it here? No, it's over there. Yeah, I'm not sure why the frame rate is so bad. Because only doing 35 FPS, and yet it's only 6% CPU used. Because the bit rates are okay, so the internet side of it's okay. I wonder if it's the it's the resizing it that's obviously streaming. The trouble is, the things I would have to fiddle to do it, to improve it, would have to stop the stream to do. Oh, that's really annoying. I wonder why it's just this stream today. Because it's not been great before. Don't know. It doesn't help that it's not. I think it's a very optimised game. Right, so yes, we need to make some. Is that regular? No, we need to make some. Whatever it calls them. I still haven't done this, gone around and put the oops. In fact, am I gonna just? I think I'm just gonna do all of that, aren't I? Yeah, I haven't been around and color coded all of my bits yet. It does feel this is one game that in particular I think feels like it's only really worth doing a lot of those things when you've finished, in a sense, when you've got you've got all the when you're making the Dyson Sphere, so you've unlocked all your technologies, then you build your final factory. Whereas a lot of other games like this, you can build a factory that makes the thing fairly practically. But it's like you don't unlock these things until quite late, and they're, you redesign everything based on them. Right, so if we're going to make these guys, let's put them in this. And then what do you need? So if this is the input, and then let's just use yellows to work it out. I can't remember how much space I was leaving. I think it was just the one, wasn't it? So, if you're making these lads, photon combiners, then we need to bring in prisms and circuits. You see, it's not that complicated a recipe. They're quite slow though. So 3 seconds and requires 2 and 1. Okay. So what we should really do, I guess, is take. In fact, let's order them up. So we would want them and them, and we're going to put those in. Cool. So really we want direct access to both of them. So what we can do, let's copy that machine, put it there, get rid of you, and then do same thing on this side. I like that this game, it sort of doesn't make a lot of difference if you do things slightly different ways, because it's almost like same net difference really. It's one of my things I like about this game in particular. So if we, I mean, they take 3 seconds, so it's no great shakes really. So if we put that output there, and that output there, make that an input, and that an input maybe. And then we need an input there, an input there, and we need to work out how many. So if we're on the yellow belt, isn't it 6 items? Yeah. I've not really, so just to explain, I haven't really played this over Christmas. I haven't played any of these games because I had a bit bad cold, which kind of laid me low. So 6 items a second, so we would need 18 of these machines. Oops. In theory. So that's a block of 6. How many can we power? Not that many, it's too far apart. Do that. I think we can do 4 on either side. Maybe? So we might as well, you know, sort of fill this up, basically, because producing them is not that hard. And it's relatively low-level ingredients for these for some reason. So if that's... Oh, well, what we could actually do, we could upgrade now rather than... Because they're... does that have a 0.75? No, it's 1. So 18 machines, basically. So 4, 2, 4, 6, 8. I'll put... I'm not sure I'm going to make that many, to be honest with you. Come here. Bit of there. Cool, so that's 8. So let's do 16. I think I can rotate that, can I? Yeah, there we go. One there, one there. As well. Tidy that up a little bit. Cool. So you need 2. If we're going to make, say, 4,000. No, let's make it 2,000. Excuse me. Local supply and remote supply. Yeah, that's fine. So we want 2,000 of them because it's 1 of them and 4,000 of them. And I say we should have loads of these kicking about. So if we do both local demand and remote demand, local demand, remote demand. Have I got any bots on me? Yes, I have. Wow. Was I putting 20 in? I think I went around and topped them up, is my memory. All to 20, but I may well be wrong on that. I think because of that it's accidentally connected, but we'll put another set of power things on, just to make sure. There we go. So this floods out. Excuse me. It's getting its bits and pieces. Everyone's working. Everyone's working. Cool. So that's that. Nice and simple. We then want to use those, because these we can just make EM rail ejectors. They're very high power, is my memory. Yeah, 1.8 megawatts. Have we got a spare 1.8 megawatts? Close. Ooh, that might be a bit too close. So we can build a couple of them. Not too many. Not as many as I'd want, but we can build a couple. And they basically fire off the solar cells, right? So what you have to do is feed the solar cells into them. The solar cells are graphite, and these, whatever these things are photon combinators. There we go, photon combiners. But we then need, in order for that to be useful, we need some of these bad boys, because those bad boys are how you get the power back, basically. Here's my memory. I might well have forgotten that. But they're a fairly complicated recipe, but you don't need too many of them. Receives high energy rays transmitted from the Dyson Sphere, Dyson Swarm or Dyson Sphere. Received energy can be directly outputted to the power grid or stored as photons in a critical state. The critical state photon thing is basically, that's the end game. That's how you make your white cubes, basically. Right, so we need to make spheres. Now, there's like all sorts of, or there were anyway, there's probably somebody's come up with a super duper optimization, but there are all sorts of theories about where to put your launchers and your ejectors and stuff. I'm not going to bother with a lot of those areas. What we do need, we need a slight sort of stock of these so that I can build some. That's probably a bit too many, but we'll just grab some. So basically, we'll make some of these. How many can I make? So if I make, say, 4. Where have they gone? In my inventory? Yeah, there they are. And then say we need some of those, so we might as well. I can only make 2. What am I short of? Oh, the good old super magnetic ring, our favourite. One of the other things I really like about this game is that you can go full scale. You can build a Dyson Sphere, etc., etc., but you don't have to. You can complete the game with a relatively, shonky factory that just produces, some stuff, basically. It's not you have to produce thousands and thousands and thousands. You're probably going to want to. Where is... Oh, there we go. It's got some there. Not many. Let's grab some of them. How many did I make? I made 2, so we want more than that. We can only make 1 more. Now we're out of silicon. Silicon is definitely more in supply. I say apologies for my disgusting nasal noises. That's just the cold working itself out. So that makes us 4. Basically, you can feed like the graviton lenses into those to make them more efficient. But that's to say, you need the yellow. No, you need the green science for that. Right. So we've got the basics there. I don't think I've ever manufactured those in a manufacturing, in an assembly. But I'm guessing you probably need to if you're going, big scale. Right, so we need to make solar sails. We might as well make them next to where we just made the old photon combinators, which I've forgotten where I did that. Over there we go. Because then we can just feed them in directly. We don't need to have the bots drag them over. So solar sails are a bit wasteful because they have a limited time in orbit. However, what you can do, or what you eventually do with the Dyson Sphere, is insert the solar sails into it. Actually, I'm going to have to blow my nose. Just 1 second. Yeah, you insert the solar sails into the Dyson Sphere, and they live permanently then in the Dyson Sphere. So it's wasteful at the moment, really, to be making solar sails. But it does ramp up your power, and we, now that I know, I didn't know that initially, but now that I do know that, oh, it copied it over, didn't I? So we don't want these. Now that I do know that, I know to build the Dyson Sphere a lot sooner. So if we put this down at, say, well, put it at 1,000 for the moment. I can't remember what the ratios are. But we're going to make solar sails. And we're going to make those available. Because, well, we'll just get drones to fly them over, basically. We may well end up with them on different planets and stuff as well. I sort of... Oops. Oh no, don't want 50. I've sort of penned myself in a bit there, haven't I? Oh well. So, if this was the... Oops. The input. No. If this was the input, and we have a machine there with a bit of a gap. How do I make solar sails? They're just... Oh, it's 1-to-1. Okay. I only get 2 sails out of it. Okay. So, if they take 4 seconds each, then 4 machines would make 2 per second. So we would have 12 machines in theory to make 1 a second. If they are 1-to-1, we probably don't. Oh, well, might as well. Since I'm doing this pattern today, we might as well do it again. So copy that over. Oops. It's sort of relentlessly like epic, the music, which sometimes I like and sometimes I don't like. I was a bit surprised, I must admit. The new trailer, I guess it's not really a trailer. The thing saying they were going to do an update. It was a bit. Well, it was a bit thrown together, I would say. But it also used Icarus, the robot, as like a mascot, and they'd done a sort of chibi version of the of Icarus. I was a bit surprised by some of the reaction because it seemed to be people didn't really like it, but I don't know. I thought it was quite cute. The trailer was problematic. It felt quite cheap, quite thrown together. I would say that. There were some terrible spelling errors in it, which I don't know. I don't know if they're going to end up leaning into the whole terrible English thing. In fact, I might as well. Why are we not? I'm not demanding anything, am I? So it's 1-to-1, isn't it? Yeah. So we might as well. If we say we want quite a few. 2,000. 2,000, 2,000, and I guess we want this to be. Do I actually want the bots doing that? I don't know that I do. Anyway, local demand, remote demand, local supply, remote supply. Superb. Right. Yeah, they've done a sort of chibi, cutesy. Oh, are we out of power now? Yeah. That's what I was afraid of, you see. What we could do is build another fusion reactor. Where are the fusion reactors? There. We could add another one of them on. Not really got room. Okay, let's see if we can't... Can I even build another fusion reactor? Power. I can build 4. So build 2 of them. I'll just fly in the vague direction. Without really knowing where I'm going. There. Right, can we squeeze in? No. But get rid of them. I can probably fit some in there. Yeah. So we want a couple of fusion reactors. Which are where? Which are where? Oh, I'll just copy and paste them. It's going to grab from... I can always read... In fact, why don't I re-divert that? I bet that's level 3 belt, is it? Let's get rid of you as well. Divert this. Up here, maybe. So I'm going to have to change whatever... So that one there. Get rid of that. One more of them. One more of them. We could fit another 2 in, couldn't we? Yeah, let's do that then. So if we stick another couple in. I have to be a little careful with these because where does it keep putting them? My inventory's so big now I can't see them. There we go. Because we could have a sudden failure basically. We could suddenly use up all of the fusion fuel. And then we're really kaput because there's quite a lot of our power is coming from fusion now. You see what I mean? It gives we've added 4 on and we've given like a third of the entire power is available again, sort of thing. So it's a huge amount of the power really. Right, so where am I going? Right. Over there, isn't it? Yes, so apologies again for the nasal noises. It's unfortunately the cold is just hanging around still. Apologies for the frame rate as well. I think we'll have to... Because it's always been terrible. I'm guessing it's because the game's got quite big now. Quite complicated. But I don't understand why the CPU rate is so unutilized if it's giving such terrible frame rates. Not sure about that. Right, so we're making some of those. We'll upgrade that. I can't remember how many I said I was going to do. Let's just do a sort of block of 4 again. There we go. So we've already got 200. Right, so solar sails. What we'll need to sort of set up the orbits basically, but we'll plop in the actual sails first. What I'll probably do, because we've got a bit of a gap there, I'll probably put the ray receivers up here. They're quite meaty, the ray receivers. They're quite big things. So let's sort of fill in that little gap. And then we'll put the same on the other end, because you do get orbital effects where they're not necessarily pointing at the... Oh, I've got a bit of hydrogen. not necessarily pointing in the right place, if you see what I mean. But they just connect to your power grid, and the default state for them... oh, I can get them quite close to there. Ah, okay. I wonder if I can get two... sort of in there, maybe. Maybe we put one... oh no. Too close. Yeah, I remember them needing to be... oh, bum.
You built a ray receiver, which can receive the high-energy rays transmitted from the Dyson Sphere and directly input them to the power grid. However, caused by the ray receiving efficiency, the ray receiver's requested power will be larger than the documented output power of the Dyson Sphere. You can keep it working or upgrade technologies to increase the ray receiving efficiency.
Yeah. So, what he said. But I don't want it there, really. Or do I? Oh, go on, let's just... no, I don't want it there. Let's put it there. Can I put another one there? What line are you on? That one? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2... no, it's that one. No, it's that one. No, got it in the wrong place. There. There we go. Now they automatically... I say, you've got these two modes. Excuse me, I'm sorry. It's worse than the other streams. Yeah, you've got these two modes. Photon generation and power generation. Photon generation is what you need to do the end game. So that's how you make the white cubes, basically. Because that gives you antimatter eventually. It's a bit of a chain, but it does. What we want, though, is this power generation. Now, you get this strength thing is affected by the combination of the graviton lenses, and I think there's a research also that does it. So what it's basically saying is that where it was telling us... so current total requested power. Oh, there we go. So that's our sort of power demand, but it's not, if you see what I mean. It's all a bit weird, those stats, if I'm totally honest, but you know. Basically, continuous receiving is it's this effect. So graviton lenses basically allow you to compensate for the curvature, because these are always going to be out the way and all these sorts of things, all sort of orbital mechanic stuff. The net effect is you just need sort of slightly more than you think you need. So if you need sort of 6 megs of power, you actually need probably like 4 ray receivers, distributed around your planet to work all the time and stuff. But they're essentially automatic is the point. We don't have to do anything with them. If we end up wanting to put ray receivers in, they basically go in there into those things. So you end up snaking belts around to feed ray receivers into these. But yeah, so that's the ray receivers. We'll go do exactly the same thing on the other planet side. So we've done it opposite the solar one, and it's on this side of the planet. So if we fly literally to the other pole, so we're in the sort of segment that it's in. So ideally we want to put it on the other side. It's the thing of... it's a bit like the whole thing of why I don't like doing solar belts, where, half your planet is just dark all the time. So ideally we want to put them in there. We can't really because we've got these things in the way, but we'll see what we can do. Because ideally it would be in here, like it is on the other side, but we can't because we've got the storage chests in the way. We can put it there. Can we put it there? We can. Oh, so we've got those ray receivers. Obviously we need loads of them eventually, but it's more like proof of concept at the moment. Next we need to put in the rail ejectors. Now what I like to do, I generally like to put them close to the equator. But we also don't want to be messing too much about with getting bots to do them. So what we'll probably do, where's the equator? That's the equator, is it? So we'll put them next to the power thing, and we'll just have, basically we'll have a, I might as well use a interstellar one, because we might well end up putting, no, let's just use a local one, and we'll put that in there, and then we will request up the solar sails. So we might make them off planet. It's probably more likely that we would be making the constituent stuff and making the actual solar sails like here, basically. So you can't have them in close together because this is going to fire stuff off, basically. So that's what it's telling you. It's basically saying, you know, don't put these here because you're about to launch, you know, solar sails through your planet, sort of thing. Through your logistics jobby. So we'll put them sort of as let's put them as close as we can. But it will let us.
An EM rail ejector. You have taken the first step to build the Dyson Sphere. Now you can use it to send solar sails into space for forming the Dyson Swarm. Each EM rail ejector requires to set up orbit and supply with solar sails. Also, you can use copy and paste to set orbits. If you want a Dyson Swarm orbit become more diversified, you can click the Dyson Sphere button in the lower left corner of the screen to open the Dyson Sphere panel. Make your customization however you want.
Again, it's a bit gibberishy. Why are you not going away? Said left click on it, but left click didn't do anything. Right, yes. So these guys we need to feed with solar cells, basically. And what we're going to have to do is set up some orbits. So we'll do that in a minute, but we'll set up an orbit. Now my memory, yeah. So these are slightly weird in that you don't feed them with belts, as in the belts don't go into the machines, even though that would sort of seem to be the most logical way of doing it. Instead, you grab. Is my memory. Is that right? Yeah, you feed them like that. We'll probably need... In fact, let's stick max levels on. I say, which always seemed a bit strange to me, that. But let's put that there. So they're giving that symbol, basically, because we haven't set up the orbits and stuff. I think it does automatically create one. But yeah, we don't have any bots to bring the sails in. Obviously, they're only on this planet, but... So eventually we might have international. Let's set it to 1,000 and demand them up. And we need to basically do... Well, what we'll do... we will set it to be orbit 1. It must have already automatically... Yeah, so it's automatically created the orbit. Huh. Maybe it's there by default, I don't remember. Now, I found this very confusing, basically. But what it allows you to do is create both Dyson Swarms and Dyson Shells. Okay. Now, what it means by a Dyson Shell, even though the game's called Dyson Sphere Program, is those are the Dyson Spheres. Now, weirdly, I mean, I guess it's not weird in a way, but the Dyson Sphere that you're making is entirely about power generation. It's not the sort of Dyson Sphere you might have seen in, in Star Trek or, in fact, there's one in Mass Effect Andromeda, if you've ever played that game. But basically, it's not a living space. It's basically a frame into which you'll put the solar sails, which are effectively solar panels. So what you're building is a gigantic solar panel sphere around your sun. Now, you can build multiple layers of spheres, and the game lets you do that effectively. It's a bit strange conceptually in that if you surrounded our star with solar panels, no light would get past those solar panels. But in this game it does. I guess you could argue maybe that they're different frequencies or something. You know, it's different frequencies of light, or solar radiation. So one layer is absorbing a different layer, and that sort of thing. I guess you could make that argument, but what you effectively got is a set of orbits. Now you can have as many, or you can have 20 basically. You don't want 20 really, but you can add orbits. Now it does automatically create them in sort of reasonably well spread out ways like that. So if we do a new orbit there, so that's then orbit number 2. If we add another one, you see it's sort of putting them in at different angles and that sort of thing. So it lets you work out which one's which. But if you wanted to edit them, you can do. From what I remember, it doesn't make really any difference. What they're doing and what they have. The difference really is that a bigger orbit is going to be able to have more Dyson. More sails in it, basically. But each sail is going to have less power, so it's a trade-off, basically. And as I say, the net effect is that it doesn't really matter. The bit I found confusing is there's nothing on here that tells you where your planets are. So we've got planets orbiting this system. It never tells you, that I'm aware, where these are relative to your Dyson Swarm. There you go. Activate your first ray receiver and solve the problem of receiving energy from the Dyson Sphere. Its activation has taken solar energy to a whole new level. Can you see those little blue dots? Those are the Dyson's. Those are the EM rail ejectors firing out the solar sails that we've made, right, into the orbits. Okay. Now we've told them to fire both of ours into orbit number 1. Orbit number 1 is this orbit, and it has a maximum number of sails it will take, and so eventually you can basically saturate your orbit. But each sail has a lifetime, so it does decline. So your sails will replenish, etc., etc. What happens is the sails go out, they beam energy back, and it's quite inefficient to start with, and that's where your technologies come from. Now, it doesn't tell you where our planet is. So our planet is here. The planet we're on is this one. It is here somewhere, but you can't see it, and I wish you could, because I'd quite like to arrange these relative to the planets. The other thing you can do, as I say, is your Dyson Sphere, which is where we're eventually going to. Now, as you can see, the default ones. The other thing, obviously, with these having a saturation of number of sails, if you want more power, you do need more swarms. But other than that, there's no real benefit that I've ever worked out to having different orientations, etc. But if we add on, now what you'll notice here is that these are very close. And so what happens is that when you start building the Dyson Sphere, it will start, and you create little pockets essentially for the solar sails to go into, and they'll basically automatically put themselves in. You don't have to do any of that manually. But that's why these are so close by default, because this swarm is nice and close, and they'll just go into that Dyson Sphere when they can. So I think I didn't fiddle with orbit 2. If I add that, you'll notice that it's close to the second one it created. So you can do manual edits and that sort of thing, and that is particularly useful because this, you have to do it around these axes. So you see this is canted at an angle, so it's not necessarily going to form a pretty pattern, basically. But yeah, so that's what it's doing basically. It's automatically setting it up, and I don't tend to fiddle with them too much. I add them on, but I don't tend to, change the the vertical orientation for that maybe, but yeah. So what you can notice here as well is because the planet has rotated and we're orbiting a gas giant and stuff, it managed to put cells in there, but then obviously it became occluded. It became blocked off. So now we've obviously gone round an orbit or whatever, or a day or whatever, and now they're putting in there, which is why you want the EM rail ejectors around the planet so that you can get a nice full coverage no matter what time of day it is, what place you are in the orbit, etc., etc. So yeah, so that's why what we'll do. We'll go and copy this basically somewhere else. And so we're not going to fanny around with or mess around with, multiple orbits, etc., etc., until we kind of need to. This is more just sort of showing how you do it if you've never done it before. Now we've put this in this quadrant, so we really want to go around the other side of the planet to give ourselves best coverage. Obviously, ideally, we want to be at the quarters. Well, not ideally, we want more than that really, but being on the quarters is sort of most useful for now. So we're in this quadrant. So if we fly this away, this is why I put the wind turbines in, because it helps me work out where I am on the planet basically. So that's one. So we've got this one here. So we really want to put the next one here. No, we don't, because I've landed too early. We want to put it here, where unfortunately we're going to have to landfill a load of stuff again. So we'll do that. I should have blueprinted that thing, shouldn't I, so that I got it same. It doesn't matter if it's... I mean, it's not going to make a lot of difference if it's not exactly the same, but... it would not have hurt us if to do that. Right, so we want... let's just grab it from there. An interplanetary. I think I put it so that the belt would output... Did I put it right close? I don't think I did. Did I? Something like that. I think that's wrong, isn't it? Because... No. That's okay. And we want solar sails again. Let's put 1,000. I think. Did I put 1,000? We want local demand, remote demand. We want them. And we want them. We then say output the solar sails there. We want our EM rail ejectors. Yeah, let's put it there. So you have a minimum separation because this thing is a great big, cannon basically, and it's going to be swinging around all over the place. We'll watch it doing it this time. Didn't really show that. So if we put one of the, oops, there, and then there, and then you want to do into one. I really love, it's this is one of the great things about this game. It really is doing it properly. So, these are pointing at our solar sail orbit. Now they can't fire up at it for some reason. Now we could probably try and work out what that reason is. We'll go and actually have a look at the solar sails. All right, so now we can see where that solar orbit is basically, and it's inside our closest sun. So that gives us a bit of a feel for what's going on, and therefore it would actually be fairly useful to set up a production on there because that's right close to our thing. So, and you can actually see what I was talking about with the. So you see how it's sort of done two crescents, and this is obviously because during this period those other two rail ejectors must have been blocked. They couldn't fire anything into those bits of the orbit. So hopefully now that we're on another part of the planet, we've put two there, they can fill in that gap and we can properly saturate this orbit. It's really cool. They say This game is just awesome on this type of stuff. And I say these are proper. You know, you can follow these. And we'll do that. You can fly up and follow them. I wish they'd put noise in it though. Unless I've accidentally set it quiet. I don't know why these aren't making any sound. Because these are obviously supersonic. In fact, hypersonic, I would imagine. Projectiles. And it's completely silent. It's a bit weird. I think the rockets make noise. But there you go. So we can see the solar sails, you know, glowing in the sun. So we'll follow them over. I say. You see what I mean? You can actually see, so that we're following the path of the sails, and as you can see, they're actually flying into the orbit. It's not some representation with statistics or whatever. It is firing solar sails into an orbit around the planet. Now, obviously, they're just, you know, 3D objects. They're not. It's not some spectacular when we get out to them. They're just, you know, discs basically floating in the thing. But as you can see, they do look like their model. I'll say it does reach a saturation point. We may not achieve that because we've only got 4 ejectors, but if you get up to like 16 ejectors, it can saturate an orbit pretty quickly. But this is meant to be like error, basically. So they're not all perfectly in a line because there's, you know, slight perturbations in the atmosphere and things like that. They don't have any physical presence. We won't, you know, you can fly through them. You won't, you know, damage them or anything like that. It's difficult to fly through them actually. But yeah, so there you go. That's our first set of solar sails. Now we'll go back to home. I have actually, you know, just left and watched it because it's so pretty. So pretty. Right. Oh, we seem to be a bit far away. So yeah, we'll go home and I'll sort of show you the ray receivers. Because in theory now we could start making white cubes. I say that's why you don't actually need a Dyson Sphere technically. But because the solar sails have a lifetime, you can eat through entire planetary systems worth of resources. That's interesting. The FPS has gone up to 60. Let's see if we get on the planet what happens. I bet it tanks. Yep, down to 35. It's clearly just there's so much stuff going on that it's trying to show. So maybe if I turn my graphical settings down, that'll help out. But if it's, because it's not limited on the CPU, as I say. It may just be that it's struggling to, because I've got settings on maximum, but we don't really need that. Okay, that's interesting. Right, so yes, we need to go. Well, we want to go and look at the ray receivers. You see, I got all this. This is still. These are great for, you know, personal usage. So here's your ray receivers. Again, super pretty animation. Really, you know, very cleverly done with effects, basically. It also looks like the graphite sheet, so you can actually sort of see the graphite sheet in action. But you see, this is making 1.17 megawatts of power. And I say these stats are all a bit weird, and a bit you can work them out. But so we've put a bunch of solar sails in orbit. We did add some fusion, but suddenly we're only using a quarter of our power, and we've only got 4 ray receivers and, you know, 4 solar sail ejectors. Now, we may well end up burning through them quicker than we need, but we've just sort of given ourselves loads of power headroom with just 4 ray receivers. And obviously, I say, you want them better arranged than I've done here, because we will get to a point where these basically shut off. You see, its continuous receiving is only 20-odd%. And what will happen is we'll get obscured by the actual planet or something else. And so they'll stop generating power, basically. And this is what the graviton lenses do. They basically bend light, bend gravity, and allow these to run almost continuously, because then they're able to bend light into themselves effectively. That's what they're sort of getting at with them. And I say, the other use for these is the photon generation. That actually consumes power, I believe. But yes, so that's our thing. What might be worth doing is looking at the power chart. Oh, I remember this being quite confusing. Yeah, it's difficult to work out exactly what's going on there, but yeah, so there we go. And what you can do, you can use batteries, basically, so you can charge batteries up and use them on other planets, so you don't necessarily have to stick ray receivers on every planet. You can do, but you can basically use these to charge batteries and send batteries around. Haven't really done anything with batteries on stream. But they're much bigger capacity than sort of Factoria batteries or something like that. Right then, so that's we've done that a lot quicker than I thought we were going to, if I'm totally honest. What can we do next? I mean, tech-wise, we can do a couple of extra techs, I believe. Yeah, because we've got yellow, so high strength glass, Casimir crystals, wave function interface, and that will eventually give us the level 2 smelter. But you need the whatchamacallit crystals. It also gives us the quantum chip, which is what we need to make the old green cubes, basically. So let's add that on, and that one, and that'll then basically, you know, we're kind of at a point where then, well, I could do that one as well. That's the level 3 assembler. I'm going to leave that one because you need the unipolar magnets to make them, and I didn't bother with that during my other playthrough. But then we're into needing green spheres, so we'd have to set all of that up. Can we do anything else? So we need green there, green there. Oh, we could do that. Drone engines might be good. But here you go. So you can extend the life of the sails. So we want to be doing some of these now. They're not that expensive to start with. And there's your efficiency one. So it just gets you more and more power out of the same ones. They're all green, aren't they? Oh, that's a purple. How many slots have I got left? So if I add that and that. But yeah, you can do these a lot earlier than you can actually make the solar panels. It's all a bit odd, really. Right, so what we're going to do then? What we're going to do? I had thought what one thing we could do is start fiddling with the production area. and put some of these into, into interplanetary storage. Because what do level 3 belts require? Yeah, so we have got all of them. Not necessarily in very big volumes, but we have got them. How would I actually fit that in, though? Because we kind of need to rework this all together, don't we? Come up with it as in the final form, as it were. Oh, I see the thing's firing off. What's this over there? That's just graphite production. Because what we want to do, basically, we want to set up a system that allows us to call up. So rather than me ferry stuff back and forth, what we want to be able to do is set up a set of interplanetary logistics stations that have the things that we want / need in order to build on other planets. And then what we can do is we would have to fly there and build, power and things like that. Although even there we could, to some extent, use the battery system. So we could transport batteries over, charged batteries, via the things, and they would help kickstart. We'd obviously, long term, we would want to, actually build the things there, as it were. Produce our power there. But we've got these local planets that are sort of dripping with resources. We want to exploit them. And I would, just because it's me, I would set up, I'd add these and stuff, but they're all in chests, basically, rather than in interplanetary logistics stations. And of course, these are all local ones. But if I start tearing these down, I could just flip them to supply, and some of them will get, taken out. If I start tearing this down, I'm going to get chests and chests of rubbish, basically. Is there a place I could build a new version of this? Trouble is, not really. It is the answer. I wish you could actually go and look at the other planets. That's one of the criticisms I would have. Wish we could go and actually. You can do the view, but if you zoom in, you just zoom into the planet. Clip into it. So I can't actually see what I've built where. But this has the most buildable area from memory. Because the other option is we could start offshoring some of this production. Get rid of some of these. You have to keep the oil on this planet. But what we could do is we could start transporting the ore around. We could stick the ore in, into a bunch of interplanetaries. And have the other planets make the stuff, and then this is like a high-level production planet. We kind of don't even need to do that, because there's so much on the other planets, really. Oh, there you go. So they're paused because they can't see, can't see the orbit. Casimir crystals. They're a pain to produce. And you need loads of them. As I say, I thought that would be the entire episode. Getting the swarm up and running. But we've already done it. I think I'm just going to have to bite the bullet, aren't I? Oh well. Well, if I flip these to supply, then hopefully it will start pulling some of it out. I'm not sure it will, to be honest with you, but... Because this was kind of thrown together, you know, whatever stuff. Oh, and I got the chests here. This is the whole point of having these here, so I can just stick it in, but it's not. It takes a while to get rid of it all. Okay, so we just have to bite the bullet, I think. So get rid of all of them. Yeah, I'm already full, you see. This is why we've ejected everything onto the land. These do make a noise, I think. There you go, can you hear the buzzing? It gets a bit annoying if I'm honest after a while. Let's just dump everything into chests then. No, wrong thing. Steel. Not even got any of them. Put them in there. It's useful to keep them sorted, even though it's sort of a waste of space. Because if you start mixing things up, it can be a bit of a pain. In there. Where did you go? There you are. Oh, I've obviously must have used all of them up. So let's do some extra chests. I mean, these are vaguely organised, though, but you know. Doesn't matter. How would put them? Oh, have I got them already? No. I will put both of those together. That's easy. In fact, I might put the miners in there as well. We need one for power. Solar panels. Put both of them together. Let's put, I don't know, them in there. And on there. What about you in there? That. Let's put belts in there, inserters in there. What we got? Essumier crystals, we'll put them in there. Oh, more belts. Oops. Like that. And then, I don't know. Landfill in there. That'll do us. Now we can just use the area one. Oh, I've got my pickup littered. Can I make that bigger? No? I quite like the noise it makes. I mean, I don't need coal, so I could just get rid of them, but... It really fires them out, doesn't it? We weren't over here when we dropped that. Where are they then? Well, I can't see any more. Where are they then? There are 6 littered. Oh, let's just get rid of them. Right, so. How are we doing inventory wise? Cool. Oh, nearly fell. Okay. This is what I've been guilty of in Satisfactory, like preserving stuff when you don't have any, when you've got infinite resources in Satisfactory. I mean, they're effectively infinite in this and Factorio, but you know, much more painful to get hold of. So I always get into a mindset of trying to keep them, but in Satisfactory it's really, really pointless. Hanging on to all your stuff. Circuits, there we go. Loads of belt. Loads of inserters. Might be something wrong there. Power stuff. Solar panels. What else we got? We got assemblers. And we've got power poles. Way too many power poles. And then miners. Smelters. Cool. Next lot. So I wasn't quite expecting to be doing this on this stream, but... Oh. It is what it is. In fact, let's use that instead. Oh, so tiny amount of copper has gone. Well, that's really useful. Oh yeah, tiny amount of iron has gone as well. Okay. Right. Okay. Let's chuck these in the storage. Bricks there. In fact, let's put the landfill in there. We've got silicon. We got. Where's copper? There's copper. Don't catch me, copper. Steel box. Those boys. Circuits. Right. What else? Assembler machines. Power stuff. Them. Yep, more of them. And then we've got... I was always going to do this, it's just to say, I kind of hoped I might be one of those things I would do this bit off stream. But so we got a lot done a lot quicker than I thought. Right. So we need to pick the actual... Where are they? The actual things up then. Yes. And fill my inventory. Okay. Oh. Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's put these away. I mean, it's quite useful having these in storage anyway, because it gives me easy access to them as well, so it's sort of not a bad thing necessarily as such to have a bit of a personal supply, but of course I can use interplanetary logistics for that directly, because you can grab from them from any part of the planet. Oh, crikey. Wrong thing. Sorry. Oh, why did I put them in there? Why have I put that in there? Why have I put that in there? Made a right mess of this. Put them in there. Right, there we go. Oh, sorry. Next one. Yep. And how much have you got in? Not enough to be a problem. Yep. Okay. Last bit now. Oh, run out of space. Where did that go? Why have I done that? Can't believe you've done this. Right. Can't believe you've done this. Steel. Stone. Graphite. It's got loads of graphite. It's a bit tricky at times because there's so much, they hold so much. It's tempting to put big numbers on, but it's sort of counterproductive, really. Right, so that's everything. We haven't really got enough drones. We should go and get some more drones. But yeah, we need to stock back up again. Wait. What tier is each of those? So, them. There we go. And then, well, row of them. Row of them. I'm wondering if we just we just literally do everything at Mark III speed now. You know, like you do in Factorio, where you just switch over to using level 3, you know, stack inserters and level 3 stuff just everywhere. Trouble is, we still haven't unlocked the next tier of assemblers. Okay. Right. Stack of them, stack of them. Was useful to just have the basics at hand. Oh. One of them. I've mixed them up, haven't I? Got one. One identity. Oh. No. I'll put that in there then if you're going to be like that. If you're going to be like that, don't need them. And them I do need. Always carry some of those. I mean, I guess I could grab one each of them, but we don't need them for this. And there we are. Fully stacked back up again. With a nice clean area to build on. Should I take this solar panel area out and use this? We could also landfill that, couldn't we? It's not going to get us a lot, but I'm tempted. Also, what are you actually doing? Do you need to be there? Not really. In fact, you're sort of running out, really. Oh, let's just leave that bit. Okay, so now we need to think interplanetary. I didn't get any bots, did I? Right, so I say what I think I'm going to do. I'm going to make the assumption that basically from now on we're going to go higher. Oops, I didn't put it in the right place. Brilliant. Am I going to make that assumption? I think I am. So we're going to go max level on like it belts and inserters, basically. So these require iron plate and cogs. We have how many slots? Iron plate, cogs, and belts. What do the other tiers require? So you then need those. This is the problem, you see. It's actually quite a complicated amount of stuff you need. Because we would need iron plates, cogs, turbines, whatever you call them, and the graphite. So it's 5 things we would need in. I mean, that would work. We could pull 5 in, make them, and have them go into a separate one on the other end. That would make sense. So if we pop that over there nominally, because we're going to be doing direct feed basically, so we'll make them. They take 1 second, they take 1 second, they take 1 second, so we can directly feed one into one into one. And they each produce the same amount. So you take 3 of them and feed it in there, and 3 of them and feed it in there, and it all works out fine. It's just the belts, you know, we need to get a lot of belts in basically. Yeah, okay. So let's just use them because I've got millions of them for the time being. Right. Bit of a space as per. So if you're going to make a level 1 belts, I might actually try and like double side this, if you see what I mean. So we have the I didn't set them, did I? So we want iron plates and gears. Oh, I put that in the wrong place. How have I managed that? So that would be iron plates. That would be gears. Put that in the wrong place. So it's there. Need 1 for power. So now it's a level 1 lead. And then we feed it into there. You see, I could put a chest in and, you know, lets me store it, or I could put it on a belt and da-da-da-da. I mean, that would make some sense, actually. If I... Just so that... I say... Because we can put all 3 in. So what we could do, we could have... you know, these grabbing... like this. They only take a second, don't they? Yeah. Oh. And then they output onto a belt. I don't think I've ever put inserters on that belt. Feels weird. And then we have the next tier of machine. Because all that requires is one extra ingredient, which is the turbines. Oops. I know they're not called turbines, but I forget. It gives them daft names. We're going to have upgrade some of these inserters, but we'll just go with these for now. And we have... Well, actually, if we're going to do that... Okay. So this would actually need to be... We would need an extra one of these, so that we can feed 2 of these. Because then we can have that grabbing there. Let's make it even. Come on, Trez. Like that. And then we have one machine. Not that. Making the level 3s. Except that that needs to be... Because that does require 2 unique ingredients. Because we'll put these on a separate belt there. So what we can do, we can feed this, or these 2, into one of these. So we can have... I wish it just picked up the machine, not the... Is it dot or something to... No. Remove sort of previews is... Apostrophe key. No. That one. There we go. Yeah, so if we put this then, say, here... Because we're going to have these out... No, in fact... Move it one back. And have it output on that one. Unfortunately, we're going across a boundary, so really this all needs to move up a bit. And the other option is I just take the belts out of different slots here. Yeah, let's do that. And move the whole thing up rather than move this guy. Yeah, we'll do that. So, if we actually have that come out of there, that come out of there, oops, that come out of there, then we can have, oh, it won't fit in with it. If we, oh well. So we're going to want sorry, that's going to make level 1 belt. Now put it on a belt there. So we can copy that one to there. Third one of that. Excuse me. Get rid of you. So you're then going to output to about there. Oops. Oh, that's higher level belt, isn't it? There we go. So copy you. Put you there. That one, we want a second one of that. And that's then outputting there. Oops. So then our third belt machine can go there. No, it can't. Made that same error already. Can go there. 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 Because it needs to output to about there. Oh! You also... Oh.
The amount of your solar sails has reached a certain scale, and they have formed a Dyson Swarm around the star. You should be able to clearly see it right now. To receive such energy, you have built a ray receiver to absorb the transmission, where Dyson Swarm can generate power simultaneously. Every solar sail launched for a certain life cycle. If you want to maintain the Dyson Swarm, you have to continue on injecting the solar sails.
So he's basically explaining what I've been explaining, which is that essentially, what do I need? I need these boys. What am I after? Those and those. Yeah, the Dyson Spheres only have... Dyson Sails only have a certain lifespan. We've obviously launched 1,000, which it considers a swarm. Didn't know it considered it a swarm, to be honest with you. I thought it was a swarm no matter how big or small it was, but apparently size matters. Who knew? Eh? Who knew? Right. So we'll just do level 1s to plan it all out, but I'm going to need to bump these up. Now, can I power everything? If you go there, are you... What about there? And where do you cover? You cover all of that. There? No. There? No. That's a bit annoying. Maybe that'll cover. Does everyone get... No, you don't go red, do you? Okay. There's always an awkward one. So, green cubes are on the table. I say we now have everything, basically, to finish the game. Oh, and that's not powered. Maybe I can just move it. Maybe that's the solution. Cool. Okay, so if we connect this, say, here. Awesome sauce. So, I guess the question is one machine going to be enough? It almost certainly will be. Especially when we level 3 it. In which case... In fact, let's leave standard distance there. Power pole there. So then we want the actual... This boy. Yes. Here. And then we can feed in. So having said I was going to do everything at, you know... Oh, that's just a placeholder. At level 3, in reality, I've done it at... I've made everything available. So what we can do now, you see, is have these be in here. We can actually go and grab some of the stuff we put on in here and feed, not them, and feed it into these so that they've got some already. Grab all of that. Put that in there. And I say I can now access these from anywhere. Basically, when I'm on this planet, it just lets you... Oh, is that 1,000? Okay. It just lets you grab them, basically. You can take stuff out of an interplanetary logistics station from wherever you are on that planet. But also it lets us order them in. So what we can do, we can set this to say... Let's do, because it makes 3 each time, so let's do 3,000 of each. But what we can also do, rather cheekily, is order these, hopefully, if I've got them properly set up in the system. Now we don't want a lot of these at all, so we can set this down all the way down at 100. But what that basically then means, because we want to demand these rather than supply them. I'm not going to do that yet, but basically that means that there will be it'll bring warpers into this interplanetary laddie, interstellar rather, and they'll automatically load into the drones, and so the drones will be interstellar. So basically they then can use them to fly to other planets, and I mean literally other planets in other solar systems, not just other planets in this solar system. So we now have access to yellow, green and blue belts wherever we are in our galactic cluster. Ish, because there is a maximum distance, but for all intents and purposes we do, because we're not going to exploit all of the planets. So yeah, so what we want to do, we want to put some drones in. So I didn't go and grab any. Or if I'm on another planet and I'm like, oh, I've run out of, blue belt, we can just stick one down, set an order, because you don't need to power. It's quite clever. You don't need to power both ends. You can just power one end, so the bots will then just bring the stuff to you, and you don't even need to put bots in. They'll do it from from here. And once we've got them, we just dismantle the, the station, and we've got the belts that we need. So say it gets very convenient all of a sudden. But I've not actually done this before. I just realised that this was a good way of doing things afterwards. So if we're making, 3,000 of them, then, we only need 1,000 cogs really, because it'll make loads of them out there. But we need 2,000 plates. But say we can just stick some in. We've got like 1 million. That we don't really need. So we can just sort of. Oh, we should let yeah. Yeah, the manipulation things aren't that great all the time. So a stack of them for us, another stack of them for us. So it should be making Lela belts. So we need to bump up the inserters, because it's doing a larger distance, so we want to make sure these don't go red or anything. Oh, you ran out of... Oh, I didn't connect these, did I? I put the things on, but I didn't connect them. Ow. Oh, didn't I? Oh, it's full. That's what the problem is. That's what the problem is. Yeah, so it looks like probably a green one for there. And then we want electromagnetic turbines in order to make... So we only want 1,000 of them, really. So we can bump some of these numbers up. Oh, I was going to... these in, wasn't I? But I can't, you see, these, I can access these from wherever, but I can't access these from wherever. And that's the difference, really. Let's pop them in. Are you making some stuff now? You're going to need like a much higher inserter, aren't you? Higher than that, probably. Yeah. Might even need 2 of them. And you're not getting your belts quick enough either. No. Don't think you're outputting them quick enough either, really. Oh, no, that's full up. So next one then. So this is, if we're making 3,000 of them, we need 1,000 of those two. So it's not huge numbers. But obviously these are quite expensive to produce, so... Oops. Oh. So, have we got any of them? We've got loads of graphite, haven't we? Yeah. Put that in. Boop. What was the other one? It was the railgunny one, which I don't think I've even got very many of. I might grab some of them. Here they come, here they come, here they come. I say it's going to need, yeah, much higher level inserter there. Probably two of them again as well, because they're so quick. Oh no, that's alright, I think. What about that? So, not quite getting enough graphite. Cool. So, are you nice and full? You're nice and full? What about you? You're not even bothered. You're not even bothered. Cool. Might just grab a few more of them. Yeah, so that's now properly flowing in and it's not maxed out its belt or anything. So it's quite spread out. I could probably make it a lot more compact and stuff, but we've got entire planets to play with, so what do we care? Now, why are you going yellow? Because you can't output stuff. In fact, if they make... I think this needs to be high level belt, doesn't it? Because if that makes 3 a second, 3 of them is more than a level 1 belt. And these are stopped more because this is full, presumably, yeah. What I could do is just grab a few and then put them in. In fact, it doesn't hurt me to have. And you need a faster output as well. Probably faster than that even. I'm not sure that it isn't only the level 3 that gets the stack bonus. Can't remember. That belt's full. Why is that full? Oh, because this is full, of course. Oh, I need to put 60 in. Okay. Yeah, happy with that. We can get rid of that and tidy it up a little bit. I mean, we could put another one of those in, couldn't we? But no, it's fine. It's fine. That'll do. How are we doing? All right, it's 10 to 7. Okay. Right. So I'm going to go and grab some more drones. So it's why I'm tempted to like offshore more of the stuff. And basically, you know, if we mine this, you know, just stick it in interplanetary ones, then we can have the other planets focus on producing things like this, rather than wasting space here. And we can have more of the space here focused on like the organic chemistry and end game production. Because say we're going to need like loads of Casimir crystals and all sorts, basically. Oh, is that not? Oh, I remember what I did. Yeah, it's because they seem to be disappearing. Yeah, you see, they're going in, and they're not going in. Well, they're disappearing, but it is flickering, and it's because they're going into the actual drones, I think. There you go. So so it has to fill up the drones in there first, and then they're available. So it's all a bit odd, really. Well, makes sense. But yeah, so we need some more of these guys. Loads more. I need to put these in, you know, interstellars as well and stuff like that. I don't think I ever showed this. This is the battery. This is how you charge up the batteries. Oh look, see our consumption's quite high. There's our Swarm. Are we on? Yeah. I think it does give you some stats, I think. Where's that? There it is. Solar cell in total 1,413. Generation capacity 50.8. So it's not a lot as such, but I say we can do buffs and stuff like that. Looks like we've probably run out of purple science, I think. And the solar sail lifetime extension and all that sort of stuff. We need to do all of those. But yeah, so what we're going to do. So it's 5.2. Yeah, so the plan is, as I say, to stream this on Friday as well now. Because we're close to the end game, and it'd be good to actually sort of progress it a bit. Oh, you're out of fuel, aren't you? That'll start becoming an issue. Hydrogen. I could get rid of. Oh, looks like I already did get rid of them. Yeah, hydrogen will become an issue. It sort of flips over. It's like you've got so much of it you don't know what to do with it. And we could, I mean, hopefully we haven't. And these things, these are just monstrously heavy on fuel, heavy on power. You do get, there's like a fusion generator thing, like a star generator or something it calls it. Which is actually a better way to power planets than the ray receivers. They're better used to make the anti-photons, basically. But we'll probably do a bit of everything, you know. Yeah, because the solution to the hydrogen problem is to max out our gas giant. To get on here and do that. But I'm not really making any of the, you know, those things. Yes, so I say next, what I'll do. Well, whether I do anything between streams is an open question at the moment, because I actually now have Thursday and Friday off. So I may well... I might do a bonus Factorio stream. Possibly the aesthetic thing, but it's probably more likely I would do a longer one of these on Friday because say I'm off on holiday, so we might as well do a 3-hour one, you know, something like that, to really get there. I am, I say, concerned, shall we say, that we might end up why does that not show on there? If I take some more of those out. No, it's fine. Just being weird. Yeah, that this big update will basically mean that in order to see any of it, because I don't have achievements and stuff because that was updated while I was playing this, so we're sort of getting a bit out of sync of where we are, and I may have to end up playing on a legacy version and stuff. So I'd quite like to finish this off, and we really aren't very far at all, you know. There's lots and lots of buffs to do, but tech-wise, we've only got, what's that, 7 tech, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 technologies left. This is what's coming in. This is what's coming in the update. These guys, and it's a new, it's a new technology, a new tech tree a new production tree rather, to make accelerants. So it would be nice to play about with them, but as I say, it may be that you can only use them if you start a new save. So say I would like to finish this, and if we have to start a new save, then we can just roll on and do a new series. Although I'd probably flip back to Satisfactory at that point for a bit. But yeah, so we just need to kind of do all these researches. They're not that heavy in and of themselves, because we can do a few more speed buffs once we get green cubes. It's just that we're not making green cubes yet. So we've reached a point where we've only a handful of techs left, but we need to make green cubes to do it. And there's a bit of a production chain involved in doing that. So that will probably be the goal for next stream. Setting aside that I'll probably do, because what I'm going to do basically, what the idea of these is, say these are the things that we want to have available for building on other planets, and I'm going to go and build on other planets, you see. So we need to kind of decide which of these we're going to make available. I think we are going to just flip to assembly machine 2. You know, we'll just use that. Belts I think is worth having because the resource requirements of level 3 is quite heavy. I think, you know, these are worth, you know, it's not that much more really for the benefit you get. Whereas, you know, so we won't put those in an interplanetary. These will do all 3 again. It's actually a simpler thing, but it's basically the same idea again. Now, whether I do those between stream or not, I don't know. But, you know, we need to make mining machines, put those in an interplanetary. You know, we'll get some efficiency savings because, you know, that's basically the same set of ingredients as that. So we can make both of those together. You know, I may not make the thermal power stuff because it's relatively low demand. Oil extractors and that, you know, or do I just take them with me? Chemical labs we probably will need to. You know, but some things like the fractionators we're gonna do that all here. It's these guys we probably need to, well, them two, no, all 3 of them actually, we need to stick them in interplanetaries. That's going to be quite quite bizarre having hundreds of them. But yeah, so it's not actually that big a list. Water pumps we do. So it's not that big a list, but it will take a bit of setting up. So that will probably be either something I do between streams, or that'll be the next stream on Friday. So that's it for me for this weekend of streaming. I will be back on Friday, as I say, for definite. Might do a bit on Thursday, extra one for Factorio, kind of to make up for being diseased. And then this Saturday, if I do one, that will be the aesthetic series. Saturday and Sunday I will be streaming Factorio, but I will be starting my new Base in a Book series, whatever that ends up looking like. And then Monday, again, we will Dyson Sphere Program. So, as I say, Satisfactory is on hiatus for a while. There's a few more VODs pending on YouTube. So if you've been watching, I hope you enjoyed it. You might consider coming back for another one. I've been Tris Magistus. This has been Dyson Sphere Program. Thanks for watching. Cheers.